Hey there, greetings everybody. Good afternoon and welcome here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph and I am the host of this channel. So as you can see, we got the computer up and the screen up and working again. Lady at work helped me with that. She's really good at that kind of stuff, so I knew immediately to take it to her and she'd figure it out. It was just a couple buttons I was missing that I didn't know what combo worked on it, but she did. Anyways, we're back here today to do an episode of favorites, which we're going to be doing tonight. My top 25 favorite progressive rock bands of all time. This seems like something I probably should have done before, but I wanted to wait until a lot of these new bands had substantial time behind me so that I would rank the ones that truly were the best, not just the ones I hoped would be the best. So I got my 25 groups. It was actually pretty hard. Not the top half. The top half kind of knew exactly who they were going to be. Bottom half, at least the last 4 or 5, could have been a number of bands here. We got a whole whack of bands that are in the running for a spot here, but you can only do 25 in a 25 list, although I have done 26 in a 25 list before. But I wanted to stick true to it because this is an important category for this channel. And I've got a whole bunch of ones that I will mention after because they were all right there. So there's about like 12 to 15 bands that could have got those last 4 or 5 spots. But I think I got the right ones, so I'm happy with my list. So as usual, you can put your own list in the comment section below at the end if you want to do that. So we're going to get started on this because it's going to take a while to do it, obviously, and it's a little bit later than I thought it was. Anyways, I'm going to do this the way I always do this, which is my least favorite to my most favorite or worst to first. In this case, it'll be 25 all the way up to number 1. We'll start with the first one. So coming here at number 25, I actually thought this band might be a little bit higher on the list. But if I'm being honest, this is where they probably should be. So this is Green Slade. I now have all 5 of their albums. I did a ranking on them too. If you want to go back and watch the ranking on them, you can do that as well. It's in the ranking playlist. And yeah, so they're going to be my number 25. I quite like this band. I like the color scheme, of course, of their albums, which is green and yellow, 2 of the colors I like a lot. And I kind of thought I wouldn't like this band because they don't have a guitarist, at least not initially, not on the first couple of albums. But they have a unique combination of keyboards here, and the albums are quite complex, more than you would think, and also they got a little bit of jazz fusion in them, but I still kind of think of them as progressive, and the album covers, like I said, are really good, especially the initial couple or so. Anyways, this is their debut, and beside Bedside Manners or Extra, so I got a 2-4 here. The other one's a 2-4 as well, so that's going to be my number 25. Number 24, we're going to go with the Alan Parsons Project. Now, this, I suspect, I'm still working my way through their entire discography, which I almost have in its entirety. Still working through each of them. This one was the most recent one in my playlist. So I decided I would go with it. I quite like this album. I think it might be my favorite at the moment. Lots of really good stuff. On all of their albums, there's at least that one big hit, right? But this is a band I never had much interest in when I was growing up, although I think they would have, if I had gotten into them, I think they would have been very high up on my list. But because I didn't and I started later, they're coming here at number 24. So the Alan Parsons Project. Number 23. This is a band that, same thing as the Alan Parsons Project. I didn't get started till late with them, but I have 4 of their 5 albums. I like the first 2 the best, but these 2 are good too. This is the Klaatu. Not the Klaatu. Klaatu, as people keep telling me they should be called. All their album covers are really good. These 2, I think, are just as good as the first 2. If you can see them, this is another 2-4. I have a 2 albums on a disc. I have the other one is also that way. I haven't got the 5th one yet, so I'll be looking for that one very shortly. Army Suite is currently in my playlist, so yeah, quite like these guys. They're Canadian too, which doesn't hurt their cause for me, so they're going to come here at number 23. Number 22, another band that I discovered on this channel. This one's actually kind of really taken off with this particular album here. Their first album that I had by them, I liked it. I didn't dislike it or anything. I liked the album. It just didn't have as much an impact. This one has a huge impact. Currently the longest serving album in my playlist, has done very well. The album cover is quite kind of 1970-ish style science fiction-y. And I do like it. This particular one has no drummer. They have no drummer here, but the use of percussion instruments is really good on this album. And it really is a kind of a pastoral type album, but it has lots of really heavy stuff as well. So Jade Warrior is the band, coming here at number 22, I believe. Yeah, number 22. So number 21, and we're going to go with this band, Riverside, which I'm not really sure why this has happened. Like, I loved this album immediately when I got it, played it a lot, and I just, I have never gotten another one yet. I think about them when I'm getting ready to buy new albums, and then when I go there, I don't see anything, so I don't get it. That's been the biggest issue with them. So, but this is a brilliant album, really good. They've got maybe 6 or 7, I'm not sure how many, but a band I suspect will do much better once I start getting some of the albums. They're doing just as well with just the one album. And so they are also a band that is introduced to me on the channel. So this is number 21, Riverside. Number 20, band for which I have almost all their albums now. This is still my favorite at the moment. In the hearing of, this is Atomic Rooster. Got some interesting albums. I was a little bit disappointed in some of their albums. They sounded a little bit too much on the bluesy side. I prefer them when they're more kind of obviously prog. I've gotten to a point now where I may not have even included them in this group, but at this moment, I'm still thinking they belong here in this genre. So this is Atomic Rooster, coming here at number 20. Number 21 is a bit more recent to me as well, although I've been familiar with this artist for almost 30, 40 years now, but I started to collect his discography. I've got about 4 or 5 of them now. This is Steve Hackett. I chose this album because it's still kind of my favorite at the moment, The Voyage of the Acolyte, but he's really good. The most Genesis sounding, Prog Genesis sounding member of the original 5 members of the classic members of the band, as I would say. So this is going to be my number 19. Steve Hackett's also the first solo artist in here. Number 18 comes from a band that has really grown on me a lot, and I suspect will grow much more on me now that I've picked up 2 more of their early albums. Caravan, this is The Land of Pink and Gray. Fantastic album, but these 2 new ones that I got, their debut and their second album, I like both of them quite a bit too. One of them is going to be battling for a chance to go in the playlist, and definitely a band that I've grown to like a lot, and so they're moving up quite a bit here, coming here at number 18. Probably would be much higher in a few years if we were to do this again, but at this point in time, still a good position for them. Gotta get a drink here, I'm dying. Okay, number 17. They only have 3 albums. They were all released almost within months of each other. I hope they do more stuff, but who knows if they will. It's a project that was they were working on for over 30 years before they released all 3 albums. This is the Chronicles of Father Robin. This is the current one that's in the... Is this the current one? No, sorry, this is book 3. I thought it was. I was looking at it thinking that's not book 2. Like I thought it was. Book 2's over by the record players currently in my playlist, but they have 3 albums, book 1, 2, and 3, all really good. One for land, one for air, one for water, I guess is how it kind of shapes up. This is the 3rd one. Yeah, really good band. They have a lot of that kind of Norwegian or Scandinavian prog sound. Really quite good. Very kind of early 70s sound to their music. Lots of stuff going on here. Great vocals. Some interesting keyboard stuff. Lots of stuff going on. I highly recommend them. And they're going to be my number 17. Number 16, going to go with John Anderson. Don't have actually many of his albums, although I originally had 2 or 3 of his early albums when I had vinyl, and then I got rid of them when I gave them to my sister. But I've started collecting his stuff again. This is his most recent album where he does the stuff with the band Geeks. A really strong album, actually. Not as John Anderson sounding as some of his other stuff. There's a little more of a Yes sound to it, but still excellent album. John Anderson, he's going to come here at number 16, I believe. Yes. So number 15, this is a band that's really had an impact recently too. They started out strong, kind of went into the doldrums for a bit, and then the most recent album that I've been listening to was number 1 on my playlist for months, and has really propelled this band to a much higher height than it would have gotten before. So this is Camel coming here at number 15. I suspect this band will make the top 10 eventually. They're just too good, and this album is exceptionally good too. I like their first 4 of them quite a bit. Some of their other stuff is still pretty good too. So that's my choice for today for Camel for number 15. Number 14, I'm going to go with a band that's also Norwegian. This is Wobbler. This is their debut album. I picked this album because I like the cover the best, but I think it probably wouldn't rank as high in their discography. The only thing about this band that I have a problem with is they release an album every 4 to 5 years. So it's really hard to maintain any momentum with that. So I've got all 5 of them that are currently out there. I don't have the, I think they did one kind of EP. I don't have that, but I would get it if I saw it. But anyways, excellent band, very Yes sounding, very little some Genesis sounding, traditional kind of 1970-ish sound to them, as they only use instruments pre-1975. It was a really strong band. Coming here at number 14 for me. Number 13, I'm going to go into the second stack, so I'm going to move this out of the way. So number 13 is Hawkwind. This is probably my favorite Hawkwind album. Well, arguably my favorite. There's 2 or 3 of them that I think are really up there, and this is one of them. I like the art on this quite a bit. Very, very almost, this is a space rock band, but I think of them as progressive as well. But if I was being true to the matter, this would be a space rock band for sure. Now, they have a multitude of studio albums, like maybe in the high 20s, maybe early 30s, but they also have an absolute plethora of live albums as well. So there's lots of stuff here to explore if you decide to get into Hawkwind. They have a very spacey sound, but they also have some hard rock stuff in there. They have some progressive sounds, of course, so they wouldn't be on this list. And a lot of their stuff is really well put together. I like many of their albums. So Hawkwind, number 13. We'll just put them here for now. Number 12, we're moving right up there. So we're going to go with a member of Yes, my favorite member of Yes. I picked this particular album. It's still fairly new to me, but I kind of like the album cover quite a bit. And he has a ton of albums as well. This is Steve Howe of Yes, Asia. And I think he's been around Tomorrow, a few other bands. But anyways, his solo stuff is quite good. It's a little bit more classical and acoustic sounding overall than it is progressive sounding, but I still think of him as a progressive artist. Always moving into different realms with a whole host of guitar and guitar instruments. So Steve Howe here, number 12. Number 13, sorry, did him. Number 11, we're getting up into the much stronger band. So now this next group, up until that point, these bands are all within a fairly close range of each other. From this point on, this next band jumps up quite a bit, and the space between this band and the band above it isn't that high, nor the one above that. So we're going to get going with this. This is IQ. This is the Subterranean album. It's a double album. They've got like 4 or 5 really, really strong albums for me. And they've got others that are waiting their turn in the playlist too. I suspect this band will ultimately make the top 30 with me once all's said and done. I've kind of soured on them slightly over the last year because I don't know what it is. Maybe the sound isn't registering with me as well as it used to, or whatever. I'm not sure, but this is not one of those albums. Subterranean, fantastic album. The band has lots of that kind of stuff. Really good. To me, this is kind of a modern age, kind of early Genesis sound with a lot of technical stuff and a lot of electronic stuff that you never would have gotten with Genesis because the stuff didn't exist back then. But still a really strong album. Like them a lot. Love the vocals. Love the drummer. He's great. Love all of the musical stuff on them. So IQ coming here at number 11. Number 10, just ahead of them, Marillion. I suspect IQ may pass them eventually just because of the number of albums they have. For me, Marillion is basically their first 4 albums. I never really liked the stuff they've been doing since Fish left. Not that I have any problem with the vocalist or the music they're doing. It's not for me, really. So Marillion going to come here at number 10. Next up is a band that I have about a dozen to 15 other studio albums. I like them all. This is probably my favorite as far as the studio albums go. This is Silent Cries and Mighty Echoes from Eloy. Eloy is going to be my number 9 band here. This is a band that will definitely probably make my top 30. They had some serious run at making that over the last year as I played many of their studio albums in my playlist. I think this ultimately is probably their best album, but I won't know until I get into a ranking situation. Then I'll know for sure if it is. I think that might happen in the next year or so. But anyways, Eloy, number 9. Number 8, King Crimson. I've got almost all their albums now. I'm kind of hit and miss on their albums, so some of their stuff is absolutely love it. Other stuff, I have a hard time swallowing it. But I always knew that about King Crimson. They were a difficult band to penetrate for me initially. They're still a bit of a difficult band to penetrate at times. This is one of their better albums and one of their better covers. I decided to give this one a little bit of a lovin' today. There's a picture of them all. This one also has Bill Bruford, among my favorite musicians, playing here. And this, I think, might be their best album. I'm not sure, but it's really really good stuff. King Crimson, probably the first real prog band to put out an album. And so they're going to come here at number 8. Number 7, just recently, I decided that I liked their music more than King Crimson. I think it's just a bit of an edge right now. I do like their artwork quite a bit. This is Nectar, number 7. I like the artwork on this album quite a bit. They've got that kind of Nectar warrior there, I guess. So Nectar, although British or Scottish in nature, that's where the band originated. They were actually bigger in Germany, so a lot of people think of them as a German band, although I don't think of them that way, but they're definitely good. Lots of strong albums, too. Those early albums, very good. Probably heavier than most progressive rock bands. I'd say they're almost like a forerunner to progressive metal. Even though they're not really metal sounding, but they're heavy like a metal band. So Nectar, that's going to be my number 7. Number 6, really moving up like a rocket over the last 5 years, is Gentle Giant. This is a band I suspect will crack my top 5 eventually. Top 5 is very strong though, so it might not happen. They don't really have enough studio albums to really compete with the other 5 bands, but stuff they do have is top shelf. And I suspect like half a dozen of these albums are going to be masterpieces eventually in my playlist. This one, no exception. This may be their best artwork. That's why I chose it. They do have some slightly off artwork stuff too. But anyways, that's Gentle Giant. Love them. Love their music. Very underrated band. Should be rated much higher than they are. Many people consider them, at least in the prog community, consider them to be the most talented of all the progressive rock bands. And that's saying a lot. So that's my number 6. Gentle Giant. Number 5. Now, this one's going to be a bit of a controversy because many people do not even consider this band a prog band. I don't know how you can't, but, to each his own. Each person has to decide what they think of the band. I full on think this is a prog band. Most of the stuff in their discography to me is, at least the really good stuff is prog. Some of the stuff that isn't prog is also really good too. And this is Pink Floyd. I chose Dark Side of the Moon because I think it is absolutely a killer album. And the picture on this really kind of, to me, is a symbol of Pink Floyd when I think of them. So this particular album is brilliant. Maybe the most perfect progressive rock band album. Is arguably one of the best for sure. So Pink Floyd coming up here, number 5. They've kind of studied along the last little while because I've kind of listened to everything that they've had. And some of the later stuff is maybe Pink Floyd sounding, but not as good as some of the early stuff. So Pink Floyd, number 5. Number 4 is going to be this band, Genesis. This is one of their great albums. I've got 6 masterpiece albums for them. This is one of them. That early Peter Gabriel stuff is really exceptional musically. Even the 2 albums that came out after Peter Gabriel left are really quite well within the range here too. They kind of went off in different directions slowly over the first 4 or 5 years that they were without Peter Gabriel and became basically a pop band. But that early stuff is among the best progressive rock out there. And many bands, probably more progressive rock bands out there that follow. Sorry, my stove has gone off here. Really have taken over, like, what was I saying? No, many of the bands who are influenced prog bands are largely influenced by Genesis. So that's my number 4. Number 3 is the other band that majorly influences a lot of prog bands, which is Yes. I chose this album because to me this is the most perfect album on the planet. There is not a single thing on this I would change. It's got all the elements of prog that I love, and it's really good. Just fantastic album. Close to the Edge. Maybe the cover, some people don't like the cover. I kind of like it. It kind of reminds me of something mystical almost. So that's my number 3 band. Number 2 band, Jethro Tull. I kind of like this album cover. They've got better covers than this one, but I've been recently liking this one quite a bit. A lot of their early stuff is top shelf prog, and some of the later stuff maybe not top shelf, but still pretty good. This is one of those one. This is, I believe, Catfish Rising. Yep. And he's got like 25 studio albums, so there's lots of different stuff to listen to. It took me like almost 30 years to get through his entire discography, so I'm in no hurry. But over the last couple of years, he kind of pushed Jethro Tull kind of pushed their way back up. At one point, they were probably around 6th in my list of bands, but since I started the channel, they've kind of pushed themselves into that 2nd spot, nudging out Yes and Genesis. Next up, and number 1, nobody's going to be surprised by this at all. This is Rush. I chose the 2112 album so that I could talk a little bit about that progressive metal sound that is very popular with a lot of bands, and Rush is the major influence for those bands. Some people don't really think of Rush as progressive. I don't know why. Even their poppy stuff that they did in the 80s and 90s is progressive. There's no doubt about it. It's maybe not quite the way I like my Rush, but it's still very progressive. And then they came back with a more heavier sound, but definitely have a lot of progressive elements to all of their music. Maybe the first album doesn't qualify, but all the rest of them definitely have huge prog influences. Some of them, like Farewell to Kings and Hemispheres, are more maybe in the progressive, full-on progressive sound, maybe not considered as much heavy as they are. But still, this band is a legendary prog band to me and definitely deserves to be on my list because they are number one. And so that's my top 25 favorite progressive rock bands of all time. I will give you them back, and then I'll talk a little bit briefly about some of the bands that I'm going to call honorable mentions. So we got Rush at number 1, Jethro Tull at number 2, Yes at number 3, Genesis at number 4, Pink Floyd at number 5, Gentle Giant at number 6, Nectar at number 7, King Crimson at number 8, Eloy at number 9, Marillion at number 10, IQ at number 11, Steve Howe at number 12, and Hawkwind at number 13. Now we will get the other stack here. Hopefully I don't drop anything. So that's your top 13. Number 14, Wobbler. Number 15, Camel. Number 16, John Anderson. Number 17, The Chronicles of Father Robin. Number 18, Caravan. Number 19, Steve Hackett. Number 20, Atomic Rooster. Number 21, Riverside. Number 22, Jade Warrior. Number 23, Klaatu. Number 24, Alan Parsons Project. And number 25 on the list is Green Slade. Now, some of the more honorable mention bands, I've got like about 6, so I'll talk a little bit about them. So there's a band called Amorphous Androgynous, and the album I have features Peter Hamill. Now, they do have some other stuff that I've been looking at getting as well, but this album, very spacey rock type stuff, some great sounds to it, and I actually like Peter Hamill's voice on this because it's more of a little bit in the background. Seems to fit very well with this band. And I'm not a big fan of his vocals, but I do like him here. So Amorphous Androgynous is one of them. Gong, of course. I have a few Gong albums, so they're kind of coming on a bit. I suspect when all said and done, Gong will be much higher on this list. Will probably make the list too. So Gong is an honorable mention. White Wing, which is difficult to put them on this list because they only have one album. I don't even have the album. It's tough to get it. And it's expensive, so it might be a while before it shows up in my doorstep. But a band I wished had done a lot more stuff. They would have done much better if they had. Another band, another spacey rock band, Osric Tentacles. I think Osric Tentacles, very exceptional band. I have a few of their albums now. The problem with them is that there's no vocals, so it's difficult to distinguish band albums apart. But still really strong band. Froop, of course, I'm listening to all 4 of their albums. I have bought a box set on them. Their debut album is currently in my playlist. I love it. The guitar player is fantastic. This is a great band. A band that I suspect could make the top 25 in a few years. Another band that falls well within that category is Renaissance. Excuse me. Definitely a band that should be on this list eventually. A lot of good stuff to get still. I do have their debut album, which I like a lot. I suspect I will like some of the other stuff even better. So they could be a band pushing on this list as well. 3 more I'll give you. Tusmork. This is a Norwegian progressive rock band. I would call them kind of a medieval kind of sounding progressive rock band. All their music is in Norwegian, so difficult to listen to that way. But if you're just listening to the musical arrangements, are fantastic. This is a band. I've got like 3 of their albums and probably a 4th one on the way. Just really good band, and they got a lot of stuff too. I think they've got like 16 studio albums, but whether I'll be able to collect all them or not, I'm not sure. But excellent band. Another band that falls in that Tuskmore kind of scenario that I actually forgot to write down here. Well, actually, I wrote it somewhere, but it's not on this paper. Is Griffin. Some people don't really like Griffin. There's people, if you don't like that kind of medieval sound with multiple kind of strange instruments and stuff, you probably won't like Griffin. But I love them. I think they're great. From their first album isn't even really a rock album, but their second album onward, really good stuff. Look forward to getting that collection. The difficult band to find too, though. They couldn't make the list for that reason because they don't have anything from them. Tough to put somebody in a top 25 and we have an album by them. And the last one I'm going to mention is Rick Wakeman. Probably could have made this list. He was close enough. He would probably be like number 26. He's got some really excellent albums. Most of them early on in his career, but there's a couple later ones that are not bad. He's got a bunch of stuff in the middle that's kind of weird, but other than that, I think he's very strong. I think he's released close to 100 albums now, so there's plenty to listen to if you like Rick Wakeman. So that's my list. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of favorites. This has been a topic I've been putting off because I want it to be strong in my bottom part of my list, and I think there's still lots of bands I didn't even mention that are working their way into my heart, I guess is a good way to put it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit the like and subscribe if you want to talk about any of the bands on my list, or you want to give your own list. You can do that in the comment section. I'm always interested in seeing how people view some of these bands. So take care, have yourself a good evening, and goodbye here from the Prog Monster.